И всем привет! Вы на канале Кейт Ван, с вами Кейт. И сегодня я расскажу про одну пиццерию. Возможно, Скотт сделал игру с нее. Вот это ее сайт. Ее уже закрыли. Как говорят, обычная причина, потому что вот появились видеоигры уже в 1000 каком-то году, и людям стало это неинтересно с этими аниматрониками возиться. Давайте зайдем в Facebook, посмотрим фотки. Так, сейчас меня загрузит. Вот, это их страничка в Facebook. Давайте видео посмотрим. Интересно. Найти это. Это не матроник. Где переводить? О, что-то такое.
And now it's time to dedicate a section of tape to the showbiz technicians and technical assistants on the subject of colander installation. Completed, pull the mask forward out of the way to gain access under the skull.
Что так? Смотрите.
For drilling the hole in the skull. And use a 1/4-inch drill bit. Plenty of rags to cover the mechanisms. Then you'll need a razor knife for making the incision in the head fur. And a couple of hex wrenches for assembling it all. A blowgun is always handy to keep things clean during drilling operations. And the threaded rod, of course, which is supplied with your colander, with lock washers, hex nuts, and flat washers. You'll need a pen to mark the hole, and you'll find the location of the hole using your written directions. Here's Billy Bob's colander. It has been installed previously, so it already has a hole in it. You'll be drilling the holes later on, but we'll start with just drilling the skull and mounting the threaded rod. The first thing you need to do is unsnap Billy Bob's mask at the fur line.
Он раздевает аниматроника. Он хочет показать Энзо или... Я забыла, как говорится. Энзо
Then
или
you also
Энзо.
need to unsnap the snaps that are holding the mask to the skull. Once this is completed, pull the mask forward out of the way to gain access under the skull. You'll want to cover all the air cylinders with rags to prevent any fiberglass particles from getting on the piston shafts. Now let's look at the prints. Find out where this hole is going to go. You note on the print, the hole goes in the dead center of the skull, 6 inches back from the leading edge. Measure from the leading edge with your tape measure, 6 inches towards the rear. These dimensions will change from character to character, so be sure to check your print. Next, you'll need to measure from side to side to ensure that the hole is dead in the center of the skull. Make another mark. Now you're ready to drill the skull. Be careful not to drill too deep, as we don't want to damage any internal mechanisms. After the drilling operation, you want to blow off all the fiberglass dust to prevent them from getting into any internal mechanisms.
Так.
Now you're ready to cut the fur. Pull the fur back into place as it would be if it was completely snapped up.
Все.
Put the mask back into place. Now pull the mask out of the way and feel through the hole where the incision should be made. Mark the location of the hole. And it's a good idea just to double check it. Now with a razor knife, make a small incision. Be careful not to make any large incisions or not to tear any material. Just a hole big enough to get the threaded rod through. Now it's time to install the threaded rod. Assemble your installation hardware.
Давайте следующее видео посмотрите. Вот, история Calendar Guide. Опять. Можем все.
We interrupt our regularly scheduled broadcast to bring you the following special program.
О, интересно. Представление, наверное.
You may think I'm sporting the latest in modern haberdashery design. Others may think I have a stupid spaghetti strainer on my head. I see you out there poking one another saying, Fats has finally gone crazy. He's got a spaghetti strainer on his head and he don't care. But I do. This isn't just a spaghetti strainer. We think of it as the noble American colander. Now, how many of you folks have a colander? Hi, Johnny. Yo, Johnny. My face. Okay, thank you, Johnny, and we really appreciate you there, Johnny. You know, folks, Johnny has really done a lot of work to get this show together. Johnny has done the work of 3 men. Curly, Larry, and Moe. That's a zinger. Sometimes I just tickle myself to death. Anyway, before my assistant, Johnny DiGiacomo, how you doing, Johnny? Before Johnny turns the page, I advise everybody to brace themselves. Brace yourself for a senseless tragedy. Turn the page. Look at it. Go on, look at it. A colander filled with spaghetti. This is an assault against any criteria of taste and decency. Let's bow our heads in a moment of silence.
Что мне интересно.
You see any spaghetti on that chip?
Все посмотрим. И все. Все видео. Фотки. Ты видел аниматроников? Сейчас мы до конца тогда зайдем. Сейчас остановлю тогда.